Right now, as you watch this video, your mind is being drained by invisible energy thieves. Every thought about your boss's unfair treatment, every worry about tomorrow's weather, every frustration with traffic you cannot control. Ancient philosophers knew this mental bleeding was the root of all human suffering. And 2,300 years ago, the founder of Stoicism created a simple 7-second test that instantly reveals what is stealing your peace of mind. By the end of this video, you will master this ancient technique that has transformed millions of lives, and you will never waste mental energy on the uncontrollable again. The year was 306 before Christ. The Mediterranean sun beat down mercilessly on the deck of a merchant ship carrying precious cargo from Cyprus to Athens. Among the passengers sat a wealthy Phoenician trader named Zeno. His ship held everything he owned: purple dyes worth a fortune, rare books, silver coins, years of accumulated wealth sailing toward the markets of Greece. Zeno watched the horizon with the confidence of a man who controlled his destiny. Or so he thought. Without warning, dark clouds erupted from nowhere. Winds howled across the water like angry gods. The ship creaked and groaned as massive waves crashed over its sides. Sailors screamed commands that were swallowed by the storm. In less than an hour, everything Zeno owned disappeared beneath the churning waters. His fortune, his future, his carefully constructed life, all gone. Most men would have cursed the gods. Most would have fallen into despair. But as Zeno stood on that foreign shore, soaked and penniless, something extraordinary happened. He experienced what he would later call the moment of ultimate clarity. He realized he had been fighting an enemy he could never defeat, the uncontrollable forces of existence itself. This shipwreck led Zeno to wander into Athens, where he discovered the teachings of philosophy. He spent years studying under various masters, but he was unsatisfied with their approaches. They spoke of virtue and wisdom, but none addressed the fundamental problem that had cost him everything: the human tendency to exhaust ourselves fighting battles we cannot win. So Zeno developed his own school of thought. He gathered followers in the Stoa Poikile, the painted porch of Athens, which gave Stoicism its name. And there, he created a revolutionary mental exercise, a 7-second test that would separate the controllable from the uncontrollable with surgical precision. But before I reveal this life-changing technique, you need to understand why your brain is naturally wired to fail this test. Modern neuroscience has discovered something Zeno intuited 23 centuries ago. Your mind cannot distinguish between real threats and imaginary ones. When you worry about your colleague's opinion, your nervous system activates the same stress response as if a lion were chasing you. When you replay yesterday's argument, your body floods with cortisol as if the conflict were happening right now. This is why you feel exhausted after a day of mental spiraling. You have been fighting shadows, and the solution lies in Zeno's ancient wisdom. Zeno's 7-second control test works like this. When any situation triggers stress, anxiety, or frustration, you pause and ask yourself one simple question: can I directly influence this outcome with my immediate actions? You have exactly 7 seconds to answer, not 7 minutes to analyze, not 7 hours to research. 7 seconds of honest self-reflection. If the answer is yes, you act. If the answer is no, you release. This sounds simple, but it is devastatingly effective because it forces your mind to confront reality instead of living in fantasy. Let me show you how this works with a modern example. Sarah, a marketing executive, discovered her company was considering layoffs. For weeks, she tortured herself with scenarios. What if she lost her job? What if she could not pay her mortgage? What if her colleagues thought she was incompetent? She applied Zeno's test. Can I directly influence whether layoffs happen? 7 seconds. No. Can I directly influence my boss's decision-making process? 7 seconds. No. Can I directly influence my colleagues' opinions of my past work? 7 seconds. No. But then she asked different questions. Can I directly influence the quality of my current projects? 7 seconds. Yes. Can I directly influence my professional network by reaching out to contacts? 7 seconds. Yes. Can I directly influence my financial security by updating my resume and skills? 7 seconds. Yes. The shift was immediate. Instead of wasting energy on corporate politics and economic forces beyond her reach, Sarah focused entirely on her sphere of influence. She exceeded expectations on every project. She strengthened professional relationships. She prepared for multiple scenarios. When the layoffs came, Sarah was not only spared, she was promoted. This is the power of the 7-second test. It transforms you from a victim of circumstances into a master of your response. But here's where Zeno's insight becomes truly profound. He discovered that 90% of human suffering comes from one source: trying to control the uncontrollable. Modern psychology calls this phenomenon emotional dysregulation, but Zeno understood it as the fundamental human error. We exhaust ourselves trying to control other people's thoughts, past events, future outcomes, and natural forces. Meanwhile, we neglect the one domain where we have absolute power: our own choices in the present moment. Research from Harvard Medical School confirms what Zeno taught in ancient Athens. People who clearly distinguish between controllable and uncontrollable factors show significantly lower levels of anxiety, depression, and chronic stress. Their immune systems function better, their relationships improve, their performance increases across every measurable domain. But there is a catch. Your brain will resist this wisdom because it threatens a comfortable illusion. The illusion that worry equals preparation, that anxiety equals caring, that controlling others equals love. Zeno faced this same resistance from his students. They would argue that caring about uncontrollable outcomes proved they were good people. Zeno would respond with a question that changed everything. Does your worry change the outcome, or does it simply make you suffer twice? Once in imagination and once in reality? This question exposes the tragic truth about mental energy waste. You are not helping anyone by suffering over things beyond your control. You are only ensuring that when challenges arise, you will face them already weakened by self-inflicted exhaustion. 20 years after discovering Zeno's teachings, Marcus Aurelius would write in his personal journal, now known as Meditations, the most powerful application of the 7-second test ever recorded. As Roman emperor, Marcus faced plagues, wars, betrayals, and the constant pressure of leading an empire. Yet his private writings reveal a man of extraordinary inner peace. He wrote, "Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, reputation, position, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing." Marcus applied Zeno's test to everything. When generals brought news of military defeats, he would ask, "Can I influence this battle that already happened? No. Can I influence our strategy for tomorrow? Yes." When senators criticized his policies, he would ask, "Can I control their opinions? No. Can I control the wisdom and integrity of my next decision? Yes." This mental discipline allowed Marcus to lead Rome through its greatest challenges while maintaining what historians call superhuman composure. But the most remarkable transformation story comes from someone you have never heard of: a woman named Elena, living in modern-day Barcelona. Elena was a perfectionist who exhausted herself trying to control every detail of her family's life. She managed her husband's schedule, monitored her children's friendships, worried about her elderly parents' health, and lost sleep over news events happening on different continents. Her doctor warned that chronic stress was destroying her health. That is when Elena discovered Zeno's 7-second test through a philosophy podcast. She decided to experiment. For 1 week, she would apply the test to every source of stress. The results were immediate and shocking. She realized she was spending 6 hours daily worrying about things completely outside her influence: her husband's traffic delays, her daughter's teachers' grading methods, political elections in foreign countries, global economic trends, climate change scenarios decades in the future. When Elena redirected that same mental energy toward her sphere of control, everything changed. She focused on creating a peaceful home environment. She improved her own communication skills. She developed her personal interests and friendships. She took concrete actions on causes she cared about. Within 3 months, Elena had transformed from an anxious controller into what her family called a source of calm strength. Her marriage improved. Her children became more independent. Her own health recovered. This is the promise Zeno made to his students in ancient Athens. Master the distinction between controllable and uncontrollable, and you will access a source of power that can never be taken from you. Zeno's 7-second control test works because it aligns your mind with reality instead of fighting it. When you accept what you cannot control, you stop wasting energy on impossible battles. When you focus on what you can control, you become incredibly effective within your actual sphere of influence. This creates what psychologists call a positive feedback loop. Success in areas you can control builds confidence. Confidence makes you more willing to take meaningful action. Action creates better results. Better results prove that your energy is best spent on controllable factors. The cycle continues, creating a life of increasing effectiveness and decreasing anxiety. But remember, this is not about becoming passive or uncaring. Zeno himself was actively involved in politics and social issues. The 7-second test does not eliminate your concern for the world. It channels that concern into productive action instead of destructive worry. You care by doing what you can do, not by suffering over what you cannot change. Starting today, apply Zeno's 7-second test to every source of stress in your life. When you feel anxious about your relationship, ask, "Can I directly influence this situation with my actions right now?" When you worry about your career, ask, "Can I control this outcome through my immediate choices?" When news events trigger fear, ask, "Can I meaningfully impact this situation from where I am?" 7 seconds. Honest answer, then either act or release. This ancient wisdom will transform your relationship with difficulty itself. You will stop being a victim of circumstances and become a master of response. If this video helped you understand the power of focusing only on what you can control, share it with someone who needs this ancient wisdom. And remember, the next time life feels overwhelming, you have a 2,300-year-old tool that can restore your peace in just 7 seconds.